Hi. Hi, everyone. So for this stream, I will be reading Dork Diaries, Tales from a Not-So-Dorky Drama Queen. It's this book. I loved the Dork Diaries as a kid. It was one of my favorite series. So, I just wanted to share one of my favorite books. I don't know which number it is in the series, but I know it's kind of towards the end, I think. It's the ninth book, actually. It says it right here. So, yeah. Um, this is a pretty long book, so I'll probably be dividing this up into different streams. So for today, I'll be just reading up to page 50, and we'll pick it up in the next stream. So here we go. Dork Diaries, Tales from a Not-So-Dorky Drama Queen. Okay. Wednesday, April 2nd. The past 24 hours of my life have been so disgustingly nauseating that I'm actually starting to feel like a puddle of cat vomit. First, I ruined my brand new sweater with a PB&J and pickle sandwich, a long story. Then I got hit in the face by a dodgeball during gym in front of the entire class and ended up trapped in a wacky fairy tale, an even longer story. Okay, I can handle the utter humiliation of walking around school oblivious to the fact that a sandwich is stuck to my abdomen like duct tape. Hey, I can't even handle a mild concussion. However, what I can't handle is the fact that someone started an awful rumor about me. I overheard two CCP, cute, cool, and popular girls, gossiping about it in the bathroom. Rumor has it that my crush kissed me at a charity event last weekend on a dare merely to snag a free large pizza from Cheesy. Of course, I totally freaked when I heard it. Not only is a dare like that rude and insensitive, but it's a very cruel joke to play on a person like, well, me. I was sure the whole thing was a big fat lie. Sorry, but everyone knows cheesy pizzas are just nasty. Had it been a dare for a yummy crazy burger, I'd totally believe it. Hey, I'll be the first to admit that rumor could have been a lot worse. But still, I just wish someone would stay out of my personal business. And by someone, I mean my mortal enemy, MacKenzie Hollister. I don't know why that girl hates my guts. It wasn't my fault Principal Winston gave her a 3-day detention for unsportsmanlike behavior, for slamming me in the face with that dodgeball. I'm really lucky I'm not in a coma right now, or undergoing life-threatening surgery. And here's the picture. It says, she's gonna die unless we do an emergency reverse dodgeball facial slamectomy. And it's a deflated dodgeball on. Anyway, as a punishment for what MacKenzie did to me, she has to clean the bug-infested showers in the girls' locker room. Unfortunately, I learned today that the bug problem in there is really bad. I was sitting behind MacKenzie in French class, finishing up my homework, when I noticed there was something stuck in her hair. At first, I thought it was one of those fancy designer barrettes she loves to wear. But when I took a closer look, I realized it was actually a gigantic dead stink bug. Ew. That's when I tapped her on the shoulder. MacKenzie, excuse me, but I just wanted to let you know that, Nikki, why are you even talking to me? Just mind your own business, she said, glaring at me like I was something her spoiled poodle, Fifi, had left in the grass in her backyard. And that's MacKenzie, the bug, says, MacKenzie glaring at me in a very rude manner. Okay, then I want to tell you that there's a huge dead stink bug in your hair, I said very calmly. Besides, it kind of looks like an ugly barrette, and it totally complements your eye color. What? MacKenzie gasped, and her eyes got as big as saucers. She whipped out her makeup mirror. OMG, there's a big black insect with prickly legs tangled in my golden tresses. Eek, she shrieked. Then she started jumping around hysterically and shaking her hair to get it out. She had a complete meltdown. You're making it worse. Now it's even more tangled in there. Just sit down and chillax, I said, as I grabbed the tissue and reached for her hair. Get away from me, she screamed. I don't want two disgusting creatures in my beautiful hair. Stop acting like a spoiled brat, I shot back. I'm just removing the bug for you, see? And that's Nikki removing the bug for MacKenzie. Me removing the stink bug from MacKenzie's hair. That is disgusting. Get it away from me. You're welcome, I said, glaring at her. Don't expect a thank you from me. It's all your fault the bug was in my hair. It's probably from those nasty showers I'm being forced to clean. Suddenly, she folded her arms and narrowed her eyes at me. Or maybe you put it in my hair to try to ruin my reputation. I bet you want everyone to think my house is overrun with disgusting bugs again. MacKenzie, I think your lip gloss must be leaking into your brain. That's ridiculous. How could you put that nasty bug in my hair? I'm getting sick just thinking about it. Ugh. Then she covered her mouth and mumbled something, but I couldn't understand a word. Although we were in French class, it definitely didn't sound like she was speaking French. Help! I think I'm gonna toe up. Me trying to figure out what MacKenzie was saying. By the time I finally figured out what she was saying, it was too late. Desperate, she took off running towards the wastebasket at the front of the room. But unfortunately, she didn't make it. I could not believe that MacKenzie Hollister, the queen of the CCPs, actually threw up in front of the entire French class. She was like a bad car accident. I really didn't want to see her covered in puke from head to toe, but I couldn't help staring. I have never seen her so embarrassed, so humiliated, so vulnerable, so messy. I was both shocked when I was suddenly overcome with overwhelming emotion. I had never felt more sorry for a human being in my entire life. And that's poor Chuck the janitor. He has a really dirty job. Gotta clean out MacKenzie's mess. It seemed like such a grave injustice that he had to clean up the horrible mess that MacKenzie had made. Sometimes life is so unfair. Very seriously, because he actually put one of those paper mask thingies that doctors wear during surgery. I'm guessing it was probably because of the very nauseous and excessive stinkage. Anyway, our French teacher immediately sent MacKenzie down to the office to call our parents to go home for the rest of the day. And instead of having class in our smelly, contaminated room, our teacher took us down to the library to quietly study our French vocabulary words, which was perfect for me because I was able to work on my special project for National Library Week later this month. My BFFs, Chloe and Zoe, and I held a book drive for our school back in September, and it was a huge success. So now we're planning an even bigger one for National Library Week. We will also be traveling to New York City for a book festival, and we'll get to meet and greet some of our favorite authors. Sweet! Anyway, I can't believe MacKenzie actually thinks I put that stink bug in her hair. Unfortunately, it looks like the kids in our class are already gossiping about what happened. One girl had her cell phone out. She showed it to a guy and then started snickering like crazy. I guess she was probably texting the entire school. But this whole thing is all MacKenzie's fault. She totally overreacted and freaked out even after I offered to help her. MacKenzie is such a vomit queen. Oops, I meant drama queen. Sorry about that, MacKenzie. She puts a little smile on her face. Thursday, April 3rd. I'm so upset right now. I can barely write. I was at my locker minding my own business when MacKenzie tapped me on my shoulder and sneered. Why are you always hanging around here? Please just go away. Sorry, but I hang around here because unfortunately my locker is right next to yours, I said, rolling my eyes at her. I still can't believe you put that bug in my hair. I'll never speak to you again as long as I live. Whatever, MacKenzie, I muttered, and I counted down in my head for her to start blabbing at me again. 5, 4, 3, 2. You're mad at me because I spilled beans that Brandon kissed you on a dare just to get a free pizza? and now everyone is gossiping about it. So to get even, you pretended to be injured in gym class just to get me in trouble. Sorry, but I could only take so much of Miss Thing talking trash right into my face like that. So I got all up in her face and said, "Really, MacKenzie? You think I'm faking? Does this bruise look fake to you? I don't think so. The only fake things around here, girlfriend, are your bad hair extensions and tacky spray on tan. Oof." And there's MacKenzie saying, "Nikki, you're just a pathetic fake." Ugh. And there's me showing MacKenzie my bruise. I wish I had lockers like that. Poor baby. So I'm supposed to feel guilty when I actually did you a big favor. And MacKenzie snarled, "That cute little bruise I gave you draws attention away from your hideous face." MacKenzie, have you looked at your face lately? What brand of makeup did you use this morning? Paint by number? Wow. I wouldn't go there if I were you. My designer lipstick costs more than your entire ugly outfit. So don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Well, you need to eat some of your designer lipstick. Then maybe you'll be beautiful on the inside, I shot back. Suddenly, MacKenzie got super serious and stared at my forehead. "Nikki, I'm really worried about that bruise. It looks like gangrene might be settling in. I need to run down to the nurse office and get some bandages for you. Wait right here, okay, hon?" But I already knew what was going on in that twisted little brain of hers. And that's MacKenzie putting her bandage on Nikki's bruise. When she got done with me, I was going to look like a total messed up middle school mummy. And I was not about to let MacKenzie publicly humiliate me again. It was bad enough that she was spreading a nasty rumor about me. But now I was worried she was going to ruin my friendship with Brandon. Anyway, I was getting my books out of my locker and still fuming about everything she'd done to me when I felt another tap on my shoulder. Just great. The last thing I wanted to deal with right then was a second round of harassment from MacKenzie. I was so not letting her put bandages on my bruise. That's when I totally lost it. I wanted to shove her bandages right down her throat. But since I don't believe in violence, I just decided to tell her off in a very rude and friendly way. And that's not MacKenzie's Brandon. And she's saying, "I'm really sick and tired of you going out of your way to make my life miserable. So please just go slither back under a rock and leave me alone, okay?" And look how shocked and confused Brandon is. OMG, when I turned around and saw it was Brandon, I totally freaked out. His mouth dropped open and he looked hurt and confused. I guess I was in shock or something, because when I tried to explain why I said those things and apologize, all that came out was, yikes. We just stood there very awkwardly, staring at each other for what seemed like forever. "Okay, Nikki, if that's what you really want," he finally said quietly. I guess I was totally out of line last weekend when Anyway, I owe you an apology. I'm very sorry. "What? Brandon, I don't want or need your apology. What I'm trying to say is that I made a big mistake. Actually, I owe you an mistake? Really? Is that all it was to you?" "Of course it was a mistake. I never do anything like that to you on purpose. It was a brief moment of stupidity and I'm sorry it happened. But it will never happen again, I promise. You did not deserve that." Brandon looked even more hurt than before. It was almost like he didn't understand a word I was saying. After another long silence, he took a deep breath and let out a sad sigh. "I really don't know what to say." "Actually, Brandon, you don't have to say anything at all. I was really angry, and as crazy as it sounds, I thought you were someone else. I know I could have been more honest with you, but I didn't mean to mislead you. So just don't be mad at me, okay?" "You don't understand. I was actually mad. I do understand, Nikki. I want you to be happy. So I'll just back off if that's what you really want." He nervously brushed his shaggy bangs out of his eyes and glanced at his watch. "Anyway, I think we both better get to class later." Then he shoved his hands in his pockets and quickly walked away. Me totally confused about what just happened between Brandon and me. Look how sad he looks. Must not panic. Did I really just accidentally tell Brandon I was sick and tired of him making my life miserable and go slither under a rock? Yep, I think I actually did. Okay, time to panic. Ah! There's a bunch of A's and H's. And it says, that was me screaming. OMG, like, who does that to their crush? I sighed, collapsed against my locker, and blinked back tears of frustration. A massive wave of insecurity hung over me like a dark storm cloud as I carefully contemplated my next move. 1. Just shake it off and get to my geometry class since I had a quiz starting in less than 2 minutes. And I still need to study. Yikes. 2. Follow Brandon around the school stalker style and apologize profusely until he finally accepts and agrees that we're best buds again. 3. Rush to a girls' bathroom, lock myself in a stall, and have a meltdown until Chloe and Zoe come and rescue me. Again. 4. Climb into my locker, slam the door shut, and stay in there sulking until the last day of school. Or until I die of hunger, whichever occurs first. I am the worst friend ever! And Brandon hates me. And there's a big frowny face. Friday, April 4th. Today, we only had a half day of school due to teacher training, which means I didn't get a chance to talk to Chloe and Zoe about that big blow-up I had with Brandon yesterday. The crazy thing is that I think I'm even more upset about it today than I was yesterday. Go figure. I stopped by Brandon's locker a couple of times to try to talk to him, but he was never around. So now I'm starting to suspect that he might be avoiding me. If I were him, I'd avoid me too. I really want to believe MacKenzie made up that stupid rumor about the prank 4 pizza, but what if all or some of it is actually true? None of this makes sense. So in spite of all the craziness with Brandon yesterday, I still consider him a true friend. He deserves it. The Brandon I know would never, ever accept a dare like that, and I refuse to waste any more of my time obsessing over it. Anyway, after school, I was doing my biology homework when my bratty little sister Brianna came skipping into my room singing to herself. I got a surprise. She poked her head over my shoulder to see what I was doing. Don't you want to know what it is? Nope, I answered indifferently and continued reading. Well, I'm going to show you anyway. That's when Brianna grunted slammed a fishbowl on top of my biology book. Water splashed everywhere. My homework was completely soaked. Brianna, I yelled, what are you doing? Now my book and homework are soaking wet. Go away. And there's a picture of Brianna splashing water on me and my homework. I took another look at the fishbowl and realized there was actually a goldfish in it. Where did that come from? My teacher, she replied. She's letting me babysit the class goldfish, Rover, for the entire weekend. We're gonna do lots of fun stuff together since we're best friends. All I could do was shake my head. Well, I think you need to be more careful with him and more responsible. You could have cracked your fishbowl. Responsible? What does that mean? She asked. Let's see how to explain this in Nick Jr. terms. I tapped my chin in thought. I'll use Mom as an example. Mom feeds you, drives you to school, takes care of you when you're sick, and makes sure that you're always safe. That's called being responsible. Oh, now I understand. So I need to be Rover and respond me, she said eagerly. Yeah, something like that, I said. Take him to your room and reading the story. I don't want any more water on my homework. Okie dokie, she replied and picked up her fishbowl. Rover, your mommy is taking you to see her bedroom. I was glad she had that fish because I figured it would keep her occupied and out of my hair. But 15 minutes later, she came back bouncing into my room. Where's Rover? I asked her. He's taking a bubble bath, she answered. What? Did you say a bubble bath? I shrieked. Yep, he smelled really fishy, so I thought I'd give him a nice warm bubble bath. That's what Mommy would do, right? Brianna, are you serious? Rover's a fish. He's supposed to smell really fishy. Well, he doesn't smell fishy anymore. Come take a sip. I gotta go finish his bubble bath now. And dry him with your hair dryer. Bye. Oh, crud. I slammed my book shut inside. So much for homework. I rushed down the hall and then peeked into the bathroom to check on poor Rover. And sure enough, it was just as I feared. It was covered in soap suds and bubbles and floating in the bathroom sink. Brianna was busy adding even more water. And there's a drawing. Brianna giving her goldfish a bubble bath. Did any of you guys give your goldfish a bubble bath? Look how dead he looks. OMG, you really gave your goldfish a bubble bath? Are you crazy? I exclaimed. Brianna, you cooked the darn thing. Oh, what are you talking about? Rover's really having fun. See how relaxed he is? Ew. Brianna stuck a dead fish right in my face. That's when I threw up and went off the boat. He's far from relaxed, I told Brianna. He's not moving because he's dead. I'm his mommy, not you. And I say he's sleeping. So there, she said, sticking her tongue out at me. But when she asked me if Rover could borrow my toothbrush so they could brush their teeth together at bedtime, I've heard enough. Obviously, something had to be done. If I let her learn the truth on her own, she'd probably need therapy for the rest of her life. Then again, Dad wasn't exactly the expert on topics like this. He'd probably just flushed poor Rover down the toilet, which would be even more traumatizing to Brianna. I decided to talk to Mom about the dead fish situation tomorrow evening, as soon as she returned home from a visit with my grandma. Sometimes having a nutty little sister is really challenging, frowny face. Saturday, April 5th. Mom, do you know about Brianna's goldfish Rover? I asked. Yes, I do, and I think he'll teach her a lot about responsibility, she answered with a smile. Well, last night he was doing a back float in the bathroom sink, like in a bubble bath. Mom let out a deep sigh and rubbed her temples. Brianna, she muttered in exhaustion. What am I going to do with that child? Mom, she didn't believe me when I told her Rover was dead. She loves that fish like it's her own baby. She's going to be traumatized when she finally figures out she cooked him in a bubble bath. I remember when I had a goldfish at her age. His name was Mr. Fish and Chips. All the kids in my class brought their pets to show and tell, and I wanted to do the same. I put Mr. Fish and Chips in a box with holes in it so he could breathe, and carried him to school. Well, you can imagine what I discovered when I opened up that box for show and tell. I know it's going to be sad when Brianna learns the truth. I wish there was another option, Mom said, shaking her head. Suddenly, her eyes lit up. I have an idea, and if we hurry up, we can get there before they close at 9 p.m. I looked at the clock and back at her in confusion. It was 8:43 p.m. Normally, she'd be nagging me to finish my homework and get ready for bed. That early for a high school student? I don't get it. Where are we going? I asked. Hurry, she exclaimed. As she grabbed her coat, I'll explain everything in the car on the way. We jumped into the car and she floored it. Mom, can you slow down? And there's a picture of Mom about to take me on a mystery road trip at 8:43 p.m. I can't. We only have 10 minutes before they close, she yelled back. The rest of the ride was a blur. Before I knew it, we were parked in the middle of an empty pet and stuff parking lot. As we were getting out the car, we saw a store clerk locking the doors. Oh no, they did! My mom yelled. We still have a good 6 minutes left to the shop. They can't close early. She jumped out the car and stormed up to the pet and stuff store. I scurried after her. Inside, an employee was sweeping the floor. He saw us standing there, but completely ignored us. Then he rolled his eyes and turned his back to us. Hey! My mom banged her fist in the glass door. You don't close till 9. We still have 5 minutes to shop open up. And there's a picture of her mom being really frustrated with that man. Me and my mom trying to break into a closed store. The dude looked totally annoyed. He muttered some stuff that I was probably glad I couldn't hear and kept sweeping. So Mom just kept pounding on the glass door. I was praying that it wouldn't break and shatter into a million pieces. Finally, the guy dropped the broom, unlocked the door, and poked his head out, scowling angrily. When the doors are locked, that's a hint for customers to get lost, he snapped at Mom. We're closed, lady. Deal with it. He was about to slam the door shut, but Mom stuck her foot in the way. Listen here, she growled, waving a finger in his face. We have a dead goldfish emergency at home, so I'm not in a very good mood. Now, you're going to let us in so we can buy a new one, because I am not doing another fish funeral. Do you have any idea how traumatic a fish funeral is for a child? Well, do you? No, man, Guy stared nervously, his eyes as big as saucers. He must have thought we had just broken out of a mental hospital or something. That's right, you don't know, my mom continued. So let us in, or so help me, I'll go straight to Pets and Stuff National Headquarters to complain about how horrific your customer service is. Do I make myself clear, ma'am? Very clear, ma'am, he said with a fake smile plastered across his face. Please come in. My mom stuck her nose in the air and walked into the store like she owned the place. I scrambled after her. I have to admit, it was kind of fun watching her tell off that jerk of a clerk. We searched all the aquariums for Rover's identical twin, but no luck. Then, just as we were about to give up, I spotted a fish the exact same size and orangey color as Rover hiding behind a small castle. Mom and I were so happy to finally find our fish that we gave each other a high five. Here's a picture. Me and the new goldfish getting to know each other. That's a big goldfish. While she was at the checkout counter paying for the brand new Rover, I noticed a poster for a contest to win dog food near the front door. And that's a poster. Enter today and win a free 1-year supply of Doggy Diner dog food. No purchase necessary, just fill out your entire entry form and deposit in the box. Of course, I immediately thought of the Fuzzy Friends Animal Rescue Center where Brandon volunteers. A free 1-year supply of dog food could really help out the center. And who knows, I might just win. Any money saved on food expenses would mean additional dollars that Brandon could use to care for even more homeless animals. That would make him so happy. A big smile spread across my face just thinking about him. I suddenly realized how much her friendship meant to me, so I decided to text him a huge apology as soon as I got into the car. I filled out the little card with Brandon's name and address, kissed him for good luck, and then dropped into a big box with the rest of the entries. I was standing at the front door waiting for my mom when I noticed this super cute guy walking out of the shop next door, listening to his tunes. Only it just wasn't any super cute guy. And it was Brandon! And he had a pizza, but it wasn't just any pizza. It was a queasy, cheesy takeout pizza. Frowny face. I gasped and stared in disbelief with my face pressed against the door. Then I screamed, "No!" Only I just said inside of my head, so no one else would hear it but me. As I watched Brandon disappear around the corner, I felt like my heart had dropped into my sneakers and splattered all over the floor. Okay, now I was starting to worry that the rumor was true, which also meant I had to ask myself a very difficult and potentially heartbreaking question about my kids. Were Chloe and Zoe going to be so angry at Brandon that they threatened to give him a beatdown like they did at the Sweetheart Dance back in February? OMG, that fiasco was cray-cray, especially when Chloe totally lost and went all Karate Kid in her fancy ball gown. Of course, I was also dying to know the answers to a few other questions. Had Brandon, 1, kissed me on a dare just to get a free pizza, as MacKenzie had alleged? 2, kissed me only because he wanted to help raise money for a charity to help the needy children of the world? Or 3, kissed me because he considered me more than just a good friend? Suddenly, I felt so confused. It was quite obvious that I didn't know Brandon as well as I thought I did. Anyway, by the time my mom and I finally made it back home, Brianna was fast asleep. We tiptoed into Brianna's room and made the swap. And as we were leaving, I could see the new Rover happily swimming around in circles. Mission accomplished. By then, I was so exhausted by the whole Brandon drama that I went straight to bed. But I just lay awake staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what went wrong in our relationship. Then I got up and started writing my diary. Suddenly, it made perfect sense why Brandon had been so defensive on Thursday and seemingly eager to back off and give me some space. It was probably his guilty conscience. Or maybe he just wants to start hanging out with MacKenzie, which is perfectly fine with me. Miss Diva and Mr. Dead totally deserve each other. Right now, I'm so over Brandon. I wouldn't care if he took a bite of his stupid pizza and choked on a pepperoni. I just want off this crazy emotional roller coaster with a big frowny face. So that's page 52. I'm going to stop there. I think that was a good reading session. It's been like 30 minutes. We'll pick up next week and see what happens with Nikki and Brandon. So yeah, that's it for this stream. I hope you guys liked it. Give it a like. And yeah, that's it. Bye.